Time for another mock draft here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. It is mock draft 5.0. We did 25 last year. I don't think we're going to get to that many this year, but we'll get to double digits. It is in Green Bay, FGB in the chat. That's where the draft is this year. Who would draft in Green Bay? What are we doing, NFL? Okay, we're going to do something a little bit different today. We are trading right out of the rip. We are going to feed off the news cycle. Myles Garrett requesting a trade. This mock draft features the Bears trading for Myles Garrett just to capitalize on that and just kind of work that in here and just to mix it up. Why not? Let's have fun. Myles Garrett to the Bears, a fourth-round pick this year. Bears don't have a fourth, 102 overall. Browns get the 10th pick, the 41st pick, and a second-round pick next year, and Austin Booker to give Cleveland a young pass rusher to work with as well. I just want to ask you guys off the rip, would you do this trade? Would you do this trade right now if it was on the table? How about this? You can answer it this way. If I told you that the Bears filled 2 offensive line starter spots in free agency, would you pull the trigger on this trade? Type Y for yes, type in for no. It's okay if you wouldn't. We're just having fun with it here on Chicago Bears Now. Curious as to what you guys would do. Obviously, Myles Garrett is a special player. You could make a strong argument. He's the best pass rusher in the NFL. 60 sacks in the last 4 seasons. Defensive player of the year. Still very much in his prime at 29 years old. Won't be 30 until December. Obviously, you're going to have to pay him as well. But I think he's got at least 3 elite years left and probably 2 or 3 good years left on top of that. I think he'll still be good into his mid-30s. And obviously, if you were to acquire Myles Garrett, you kind of feel really good about your defensive line moving forward. Now, in this trade proposal, you lose Austin Booker, but you still have DeMarcus Walker. You could still draft a guy on day 3 or sign a cheap vet, like bring back Jacob Martin or Darrell Taylor or someone like that. Dominic Robinson, maybe you keep him around. He's still under contract. So you pair Garrett with Sweat, you're feeling pretty damn good about yourself. And then Billings, Dexter in the interior, add a third defensive tackle, and all of a sudden your defensive line goes from a below-average unit to one of the better ones in the league. Potentially. Now, like I said a minute ago, I would need to see free agency first. Like, I actually think it would be unwise if the Bears pulled the trigger on this trade before free agency. But again, if you were to acquire 2 starting offensive linemen in free agency, then I become more comfortable trading a couple premium picks between this year and next year in the NFL draft, at least to consider doing that for Myles Garrett. So that's kind of my take on it. Just wanted to sprinkle it in. I get not everybody wants to do this. I'm not even dying to do it. I'm just, we're having fun capitalizing it being on in the news cycle. Okay, well, I want to get some of those picks back, so I'm going to trade back from 41 with the Texans. I'll pick up 57 and 89, so move down 16 spots, pick up a third in the process. So now I have a good amount of picks here in this range moving forward. So round 2, pick number 57. That is Aireontae Ersery, the left tackle out of Minnesota. That is who I select here with this round 2 selection after trading down. This guy's pretty interesting to me. Now, his foot speed is average, I would say, so that's probably the biggest weakness here, but he definitely has a stronger anchor than a guy like Braxton Jones. He's physical, 3-year starter, has graded out very well playing in the Big Ten against really, really good pass rushers, obviously. And I like what I saw at the Senior Bowl, and I like the measurables that I saw. He checks all the boxes. He's almost 6'6", 339, so he's big, but he's not like too hefty. 9.5-inch hands almost, 34-inch arms, so that clears the 33-inch benchmark that teams are typically looking for. Experience, Premier Conference, measurables, tape. Yeah, I think round 2, it's pretty good value for this kid. I'm curious to see what testing he does in Indianapolis and how he does test out in some of those drills. Marcus Mbow, the offensive lineman out of Purdue, we get him here. What pick is this, Cullen? 72 overall, round 3, pick number 72. Intriguing player. I actually think he'll go higher than this, but he was still sitting there. Probably a second, third round type of guy. Really powerful hands. It probably needs some technique work, but I like the versatility. He's played both guard and tackle for Purdue over the last few years. Did give up 3 sacks this year, so not great, but not awful either. 1-year starter at right guard, 2-year starter at right tackle for the Boilermakers. So, like I said, he's moved around a little bit, has been versatile, plays with good power. I think he probably kicks inside in the NFL. I think the way he plays is better suited to play guard. And if you draft Ersery, who's probably more of just a tackle, you kick this guy inside. I think he could probably start as a rookie as a guard if you were able to get him. So, again, you fill another starting offensive line spot despite trading some premier picks for Myles Garrett. Hit that subscribe button here on Chicago Bears Now. We are trying to get to 117,000 subscribers. If you love the Bears, if you love this team, and if you want more content for free, let's get to our next milestone. We're just over 500 away. All right, round 3, pick number 89. It is Deone Walker, the defensive tackle out of Kentucky, who I think is arguably the most fascinating prospect in the draft this year, certainly one of the more polarizing. I see scouts' takes on him all over the place. Some are like, this guy is like, he should go round 1. Other guys are like, he sucks. I think from what I've watched so far, he is a physical specimen that needs technique work. I mean, you look at his measurables, 6'7" and a quarter, 340, but moves very well, over almost 11-inch hands, so he packs a punch with his handwork there. Super long arms as well. I mean, this guy was built in a lab because he's pretty quick as well. But the technique, the pad level. Remember, that was the thing with Gervon Dexter coming out. His pad level coming out of Florida wasn't great. In his rookie year, that was very hit and miss. But it improved in year 2. A lot of similar things with Deone Walker, but probably even a little bit more raw. Something that's interesting here, too, is he does need to fix some of that technique. But with good coaching, I think that can happen. He had 1.5 sacks his first year, 7.5 his second year, and then back to 1.5 this year. So I'd be curious what a scout's take on that is. Like, is that a byproduct of scheme? Is that he regressed? Sacks sometimes can be a misleading stat, but to jump 6 sacks and then to fall 6 sacks year over year, certainly bizarre. But the physical traits alone probably get him drafted on day 2. And if he's sitting there middle, late, third round, I mean, that's a swing worth taking, especially if he wouldn't have to start, which for this team he wouldn't. He could be that third guy behind Andrew Billings and Gervon Dexter. We're sponsored by Game Time here on Chicago Bears Now. If you want to check out the Bears next season, once tickets drop, get your tickets with Game Time. The best ticketing app out there is Game Time. I use them all the time. Sometimes my wife and I wake up on a Saturday and like, hey, you want to go to a concert tonight? How about a comedy show? You want to go see who's at the local comedy club tonight? And, pull up the old Game Time app, surf around, filter on Game Time picks, which helps filter out the thousands of tickets available for these events, and find tickets in a timely manner. Purchase them in a matter of minutes, and you'll get them digitally sent to you in a matter of a few more minutes. It is very easy, very painless, and very timely when you get your tickets with Game Time. Can't recommend them enough. Got my dad some playoff tickets last year. He really enjoyed that experience and got the best price available with Game Time. Used to feature all-in pricing as well, so you're not surprised at checkout with potential fees that you may get hit with. Check out Game Time today. Use or download the app, create an account, then use promo code ChatSports if you're a new customer to get $20 off your first purchase only. Terms do apply. It's Game Time. What time is it? Game Time. All right, round 4, pick 102. It is DJ Giddens, the running back out of Kansas State, who is a pretty fun player. I want to say, I'll have to double check this, I think the first mock I did during the season, I may have taken DJ Giddens. I think that's right, so I'd have to go back and look. You guys could go check it as well. He's pretty fun. I feel like he's not getting talked about a ton through this draft process, maybe because he wasn't at the Senior Bowl, who knows. But I think in that round 3-4 range is where he'll go. He's listed at 6'1", 210. I'll be curious to see where he actually measures in at the Combine. But physical player. He catches the ball pretty well as well. Didn't get a ton of reps there, but when he did, he was able to show off that. And they used a second running back a lot too, so for him to have over 1,600 all-purpose yards is pretty impressive. And again, I just continue to say, I think somewhere in the second, third, fourth round, if they end up with a fourth-round pick, that this team is going to draft a running back, that they're going to pair someone with DeAndre Swift. Ben Johnson is going to try to replicate his David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs situation in Detroit, at least to the best of his ability. Slide Roschon down to RB3, and then you have Ian Wheeler and whoever else competing for maybe a fourth running back spot on the 53-man roster. I just think it's going to happen. It's too good of a draft to not take a running back at some point, and I just think the Bears need a running back. So when you combine those two things together, not drafting one would be kind of silly. Name a running back you want the Bears to draft. Who's someone out there you want? Obviously, people like Ashton Genty, plenty of guys on day 2. In this case, we get DJ Giddens early in the 4th round. So let us know who you want, and we will see who they end up with, because I do think they'll draft somebody. All right, next up, round 5, pick number 148. It is Seth McLaughlin, the center out of Ohio State. He got hurt late in the year and missed the season, but 3-year starter for Ohio State at center. I think he was a team captain. Don't quote me on that, but I'd have to double check. But certainly a leader for that team, and just kind of a culture guy that fit in there. Ryan Day raved about him all the time. And, he's going to have a limited athletic profile. I don't expect him to test super well, but I think he's a guy where if you sign someone in free agency, or if you bring back Coleman Shelton or whatever the case may be, you bring this guy in, he can be a backup, developmental guy that has a chance to start down the road. Worst case, high IQ backup guy at that center position. Ricky White, round 6, pick number 197 out of UNLV. Had a good week at the East-West Shrine Bowl in Dallas, Texas. Played a lot of slot at UNLV, and I think that's the position the Bears could look to identify at receiver this offseason, assuming Keenan Allen doesn't come back, which it's not a done deal yet, but I would bet against him coming back at this point in time. White brings some juice, pretty good speed. I think he'll test well. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He played a lot of slot, but he can also play all 3 spots. He's about 6 foot, 190 pounds, so big enough to put on the outside if you need him to. But I think you put him in, and he could, I think, really, even as a day 3 pick, could compete for snaps as a rookie. And then Hunter Wohler, round 7, pick 235 to wrap up this mock draft out of Wisconsin. 2 years ago, he had an excellent season. He was one of PFF's highest graded safeties. This year, he kind of fell back to earth a little bit, but good tackler. Could be a guy that competes on special teams and fights for a roster spot for maybe like a number 4 safety role as a rookie. All right, there you have it. My mock draft 5.0. Certainly a polarizing one, putting the Myles Garrett trade in there, but wanted to have fun with it, include it. You don't want every mock draft to be the same. So A, B, C, D, or F, let us know how we did. If you hate it, it's all good. We'll fire up another one soon, and maybe you'll like that one. All right, that's going to do it for this mock draft episode here on Chicago Bears Now. Plenty more draft coverage to come and other Bears videos as well. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and we'll see you soon.